He betrayed his country, his parliament and his party, Sir Keir Starmer told MPs, insisting he regretted appointing Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States. Later, Number 10 said new information had emerged in September which showed the depth and extent of Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was materially different from what he had claimed, and so he was sacked. But Labour anger over the vetting process and the Prime Minister's handling of the appointment is only growing, as Anya Pop reports.
Mandelson lied throughout the process and beyond the process. He lied, and he lied again to my team.
No shortage of superlatives today.
He's betrayed our country.
As a beleaguered Keir Starmer on the back foot tries to distance himself from the disastrous decision to appoint Peter Mandelson as his US ambassador. A political drama, say those opposite, of his own making.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister?
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein.
The government tried to get ahead of a Tory motion to publish all communications relating to Lord Mandelson's appointment, promising to release them, but tabling an amendment to exempt anything relating to national security or international relations.
This is not about national security, this is about his job security. His amendment lets him withhold anything to do with international relations. But this whole appointment is to do with international relations. So if they're voting for it, they are voting for the cover-up. If the Prime Minister is serious about national security concerns, then he should ask the Intelligence and Security Committee to decide which documents should be released.
Backing the Tory leader's call for external oversight, an unusual ally. The PM's former right-hand woman, Angela Rayner, clearly not trusting her old boss to mark his own homework.
Should we not have the ISC not have the same role now in keeping public confidence in the process?
As the debate went on, it was clear the government's huge majority has grown yet more worthless, and the amendment wouldn't pass.
How can we stand in this chamber and say to victims that we believe them, that we will stand with them, while refusing to release full documents relating to serious concerns about one of our own?
I'm really sad to say that I am ashamed of the amendment that was laid today.
Hear, hear.
Ministers rushed to amend their amendment before a vote, promising to give oversight to the Intelligence and Security Parliamentary Committee, a capitulation that pretty much guarantees it will pass tonight's vote. Do you think the government can survive this? Is it that big a moment?
I think I've never seen the PLP as unhappy as I've seen them today. I don't know what that means for the future, but what I would say is people aren't happy, and that's why I believe that the amendment has been changed today, and I hope at this very dire time it now signifies the change that we need. We can't continue like this.
The decision to appoint the so-called Prince of Darkness will forever haunt the Prime Minister. The release of some of the documents may be delayed still, after Met Police tonight said it might compromise their investigation into Lord Mandelson's alleged leak of sensitive information. But today marks another major government climb down, after the most excruciating of weeks for the Prime Minister, calling into question not just his judgment, but the power and respect he still retains amongst his own MPs.
Well, our senior political correspondent, Paul McNamara, is with me. Is the government drowning?
I think when the history books of Keir Starmer's time in Downing Street are written, and those books are looking like they're getting shorter and shorter by the minute, today is going to look like a very, very significant moment. There's so much to pick apart. Firstly, I understand now that the Met Police is asking for Number 10 not to release specific documents because it might prejudice the trial. This is getting echoes of Partygate. Number 10 themselves are getting frustrated about this because what happened then during Partygate, which you had the Sue Gray report, that had to be part. Bits were drip-fed, and it was a death by 1,000 cuts.
And today's argument could have been avoided, therefore.
It could have been avoided. I understand that what we got to today, the amendment, that was actually put to Downing Street last night. Where we've ended up today, they could have gone with that. They chose not to, which brings on to another issue of Keir Starmer's political judgment. Thirdly, we then got the Intelligence and Security Committee. That's not going to be a happy place for Keir Starmer and the government. It's also a committee that's only got 20 members of staff. One of the terms of reference for what they're going to be looking at is every single communication that Peter Mandelson had with a government advisor, special advisor, in his time in Washington. This could go on for absolutely ages. There's going to be no quick resolution. Fourthly, there's so many of these moments. I've got them all down here. There was a real moment in PMQs today when Keir Starmer was asked if he knew about the ongoing relationship between Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein. We've had all sorts of obfuscation and verbal gymnastics, so that the government spokesman, or Keir Starmer, didn't really want to answer that in the last couple of months. Today he did, and he said, yes, it did know. And you could almost feel the energy levels of Labour MPs reducing. You could see this moment in their face. You could see the stony faces of all the cabinet members around them. That was pivotal. And then fifth, after all the shenanigans we get, this is the government that, even with the majority of 170, it cannot force through anything that it wants in Parliament. There were no people standing up. There were no defensive voices standing up for the government. All those defensive voices now have left Keir Starmer. And lastly, there is bloodlust. Talk to backbench MPs. They want a head to roll, whether it's Morgan McSweeney or Keir Starmer. Now, the major thing saving Keir Starmer at the moment, this was always going to be a tricky couple of weeks for him. The Gorton by-election, we're not talking about that at the moment. We've got the May local elections. It's all going to be tricky for Keir Starmer. It is looking so dicey for the Prime Minister right now. This is a man who day by day looks like, according to his MPs, is taking more and more steps closer to the edge.
Paul McNamara, thank you very much indeed. Well, stepping in now are two Labour MPs, John McDonnell, of course, and Clive Efford. John McDonnell, you have said Keir Starmer should consider his position. Are you saying he should go?
Well, I've worked with Keir Starmer. He's a responsible person. I think he has to consider whether or not he's capable now of continuing on as Prime Minister in the interests of the country and the party.
Why is it his fault?
Because he appointed Mandelson in the first place, despite what he knew. In December 24, when the appointment was coming forward, I said then, look, people will think he's lost all sense of judgment as a result of this decision. We knew what the relationship was with Epstein between Mandelson, and he's not the sort of person you would, but it's a huge, huge error of judgment. And then subsequently, like today, I think completely mismanaged the whole issue. The House wanted to get to the bottom of this. They want all the papers published. We then have amendment after amendment. It was just mismanagement all the way through. And I think this is so serious. It is damaging our party, but it's also damaging the country.
Clive Efford, how many of your colleagues are saying similar things quietly?
I think people are very disappointed with today because the revelation of Prime Minister's questions that Keir did know, that clearly shook people. That you could feel it in the chamber. There's no denying that. It's a terrible day for number 10.
I mean, this was a soft left rebellion, wasn't it? Led by Angela Rayner, and these are people who kind of want Starmer out anyway.
Well, I was on the fringes of the negotiations about the manuscript amendment. I didn't see Angela Rayner there, but let's leave that aside. But I mean, we really do need to consider where we're at now in government, because we've got important elections coming along, and we're really in danger now of plunging ourselves into an internal wrangle about who's going to be leading the Labour Party when we should be getting on with getting our message across about what this government is doing that is changing the country.
So do you want him to go or not? Are you saying don't have a leadership contest?
I don't want a leadership contest. We're not very good at it in the Labour Party. It takes a very long time, and we'll be focusing on that and not on running the country.
John McDonnell?
But I do think, can I just finish? I do think that Keir has been badly advised by people around him in number 10, and I think that's been too
So you think Morgan McSweeney should go?
I'm not putting names on anything.
Well, let me put that name to you. Should he go?
But what Keir needs to consider right now is who around him is not giving him the advice that he needs at crucial moments.
Well, his key advisor is Morgan McSweeney.
You can say that, but I'm not going to issue it.
Okay,
it's not for me to come here and issue names. That's
right. The reality is this, and this is one of the issues as well. When he was asked about Morgan McSweeney today, he got up and defended him, and I think most of the Labour MPs were absolutely shocked at that. It calls to question Keir's judgment, and I think Keir needs to think himself about whether he's the right person to continue on now. And many feel he should move on. And it would be better for us as a party and as a country if he does that.
Right, but even if you had a leadership election and a new leader, isn't this so huge that the damage to the Labour brand caused by Peter Mandelson is unrecoverable now?
I think it's really difficult to see us recovering whilst Keir is there, almost defending the decision he took.
Well, why would anyone
respects.
else make a difference?
Because actually we need a new clean broom. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you just have to clear out the stable, don't you? And I think that's what we have to do now. And it is about Mandelson, but it's also about the influence of corporations and other rich individuals too. We need a fresh approach to restore confidence for Labour. We could be losing a government here as a result of this issue. That's how risky this is.
Why is that wrong?
Well, I think bringing back Mandelson was a huge mistake. I thought that from day one, and
why didn't you listen to people like you?
Well,
this is just appalling.
We were all saying it. We were all saying it. We were all saying it because we've had experience and we've been around a long time. And unfortunately, too many people have been around a long time and not being listened to. But we need to repair ourselves while we're in government, and we can't do that while doing a leadership contest. Keir has been doing a good job in getting things through. He's done a good job on the international stage, and we need to pull together here. But it cannot be done whilst there is bad information and advice being given to the leader.
I think we could have a caretaker leader for a period of time while we sort this mess out. And then go.
Well, it's clearly an argument you need to have.
It's an argument that's
Thank you
going
very
on in
much
the tea
indeed,
room.
both of you. The Metropolitan Police have told the government that releasing some of the documents connected to Lord Mandelson's appointment as ambassador to the US would undermine their investigation into Mandelson over allegations of misconduct in public office. The Common Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, told MPs that the police had no jurisdiction over the Commons and could not dictate to this House. Well, Lord Beamish is a Labour peer and chairs the Intelligence and Security Committee of Parliament, which now has this key role in the release of the material, and he's with me now. So are the police going to end up delaying your work, or will you get on with it and then release it when they're happy for you to release it?
Well, we're waiting for the government to release the information to us. We will be conducting our investigations in private anyway, so we're not releasing anything which is obviously going to prejudice a police investigation, but we'll have to wait and see how that develops.
I mean, you can bury almost anything on grounds of national security. Is your instinct to publish or to save embarrassment?
Well, no, we take our job very seriously at the committee, and what we try to do is put as much in the public domain as possible. Embarrassment isn't one reason why you should redact things. But we have clear procedures in terms of being able to look at what shouldn't be put in the domain for national security reasons, but embarrassment certainly isn't one of them.
So the idea is that the committee will decide which of these documents should go public, but will you also be making a judgment on the government's behaviour and the decision to appoint Mandelson as ambassador?
Well, we haven't received the information yet, so we don't know what we will do. What we do, we act collectively. We will decide as a committee what course of action we will take in terms of whether there's enough information provided to come to any conclusions, or we may ask for more information and any documents that we feel are not there.
So you might write a report as well as deciding...
We could, but that, as I say, until we see what is actually provided to us, we don't know. But the important thing is that we do have the powers actually to ask for further information if we don't feel that everything's been covered. Security
is your expertise, but one of the other reasons the government wanted to redact some of this material was to save diplomatic relations. Now that's not really in your remit, is it? Will you be also deciding that?
Well, that's interesting that the information will be included, because that doesn't cover our remit as the ISC, so a judgment call will have to be made on that.
So will you be judging what might be diplomatically embarrassing?
Well, once it's given to us, we'll have to decide what to publish. But the important thing is, and we always do this, is to try and put as much in the public domain as possible, guarding the fact that sometimes you can't because of protecting national security.
How do you feel about having this dumped on you?
Well, it's the way the government have proposed to do this. Fine, we'll have a look at it. What we're not going to do is shy away from making tough decisions.
I mean, what you don't know is how much material there is. I mean, there could, in theory, be thousands of documents. Are you staffed to deal with that?
Well, we have staff. We have to have more resources. We will. But we often start inquiries where we ask for documentation, and we don't set terms of reference. What we do is follow the evidence. And on a number of occasions, one of our reports at the moment, for example, we thought was going to be short is now long because of the amount of material that we actually have uncovered.
And as a Labour peer, long time in Parliament, how do you feel about what's happened?
Well, it's a shameful day, frankly, for government and Parliament. I mean, it's a terrible thing that you've got a serving cabinet minister, leaking this type of information.
Do you think it's possible that Mandelson could take the government down with him?
Well, I don't know about that, but the point is that this is a stain, I think, and needs exposing, because quite clearly there's nothing like this ever happened, certainly in my political time here, that you've got a serving cabinet minister leaking very sensitive information to a third party.
Do you think it's the worst scandal ever? Some people are describing it that way.
Well, it's a pretty high bar, that, but yes, I think in terms of some of the implications that you've got a cabinet minister who's actually leaking this as it's happening is just remarkable.
Lord Beamish, thank you very much indeed.